Okay, let's do a practice on chapter 7, like a review, practice quiz. The first question, identify the value or values, it might be more than one, for which the rational expression 3x over x minus 8 is undefined. Let's see if you remember that. Well, when is a fraction undefined? A fraction is undefined is when you have a 0 on the bottom. So what value will make the bottom 0 here? We take the x minus 8 and we set it equal to 0. That tells me x will have to be 8. So to find the value that will make this fraction undefined, x has to be 8. If x is 8, you have it 24 divided by 0, which is undefined. Question number 2. Show that y minus 3 over y is equivalent to 3y minus y squared over y squared. Show me that this is equal to that. Well, if they are equal to each other, if I take this and simplify it, I should come up with that answer. So let's take this problem and simplify it. 3y minus y squared over y squared. Can I simplify that? Well, I can factor a y out of the top. If I factor a y, what's left? 3 minus y here. And y squared is y times y. Notice this y will cancel one of these. And what's left? 3 minus y over y. This is the same as this one. Question number 3. Simplify. (15) a cubed b over 12ab squared. Let me look at the 15 and the 12. Both of these numbers are divisible by what? They are divisible by 3. So I can take the 15 and make that 5 times 3. And I can take the 12, make it 4 times 3. A cubed, that's 3 a's, times b, 1a and 2 b's. And let's look for like terms. The 3 cancels the 3. The a cancels the a. The b cancels the b. Anything else? It looks like nothing else left there. I have the 5 left on the top. I have a times a, which is 2 of them. In the bottom, I have the 4 and the b. Another one. Simplify. X squared minus 4x over xy minus 4y. Again, what I need to do is actually factor each one of them. I can take x out of the top. What's left? X minus 4. The bottom, I can factor a y out. What's left? X minus 4. You can see the x minus 4 shows up in both of them, so I can cancel it out. And what's my final answer? X over y. Let's try another one. Simplify. Three b squared minus 27 over b squared minus 4b minus 21. I need to factor each one completely first. I can factor 3 out. If you factor 3, what's left? B squared minus 9. Let's simplify even more. B squared minus 9. I should be able to factor that as what? B minus 3, B plus 3. This one, it's B and B. 21, so negative. One is positive, one is negative. Negative 7, positive 3. That'll give me the negative 4b here. And if you look closely, you will notice b plus 3 is common on the top and the bottom. So what's left on the top? 3 times b minus 3. The bottom, b minus 7. Oh, wrong numbering. That's 5 and 6, I think. Simplify. This is a complex fraction. 3 over x squared minus 1 over x over 9 over x squared minus what? The 1. So I got to find my LCD. My LCD is, remember this is over 1. It's the multiplication of all the different factors. Well, the only factors I see in the bottom, the only thing I see x and 1. And each of them raised to its highest power. Its highest power. The highest power of x is 2. So what's x squared times 2? That's x squared. So now you're going to have, I'm leaving a space here. I'm going to multiply each one of them by x squared, or x squared over 1. Doesn't really matter if I put the 1 or not. But when it's a fraction, I try to make it a fraction times a fraction. And here we go. This x squared cancels that x squared. It leaves me with 3 over 1, which is 3. This x will cancel one of those x's. That will leave me with x. This x squared cancels that. That's a 9 minus x squared. Can I simplify it more? Can I factor more? Sure. 3 minus x over, factor this, 3 minus x, 3 plus x. And now the 3 minus x cancels the 3 minus x. What's left on the top? It's always a 1. We just don't put it there, because this is really times a 1. That's a 1 over 3 plus x, so I like to put them x plus 3. I like them in descending power. Three plus x or x plus 3 doesn't change anything. Let's try another one. Write four n minus 1 over n squared plus 6n minus the 16, comma, the next one, 2 over n plus 8, comma, and the third one, n over 4n minus 8. Write all of these in terms of their LCD. In terms of their LCD. Well, before I start talking about their LCD, I need to factor them first. Let's take the first one. When you factor this, this is n and n. This is a negative, which means one is positive, one is negative. But since you want your answer, the sum, to be 6, that has to be plus 8 minus 2. Plus 8 minus 2. When you add them, that's a 6. Second one, no change to it. Third one, I can factor out a 4. If I factor a 4, what's left? N minus 2. Remember what the LCD is. The LCD is the multiplication of all the different factors. Well, the different factors you see in the bottom are the 4, the n minus 2, and the n plus 8. These are the different factors. I'm going to rewrite each fraction in terms of the LCD. Let's look at the first fraction. The first fraction but I want to rewrite that because I want the bottom to be the LCD. I want it to be 4 times n minus 2, n plus 8. So how would I make this look like this? What's missing from it? Well, you get the n plus 8, you get the n minus 2, but you don't have the 4. So you need to multiply the bottom by 4, But if you multiply the bottom by 4, that means you're going to multiply the top by 4. So let's go ahead and multiply the top by 4. What's 4 times 4n? 16n minus what? 4. Or you can leave it, I'll probably leave it the other way. This is fine. Or I might even leave it as 4 times 4n minus 1. I'm not going to multiply it through. Just leave it the way it is. And I'm sure that'll be fine. The next one, it's 2 over n plus 8. And again, you want the bottom to be 4 times n minus 2 times what? N plus 8. So when you look at these two, you're missing the 4 and you're missing the n minus 2. I need to multiply the bottom by 4 and n minus 2. Well, if you multiply the bottom by that, you're going to multiply the top by the same thing. And you're multiplying 3 things, the top times the top. What's 2 times 4? 2 times the 4, that's 8 times n minus 2. Let's look at the last one. The last one is what? N over 4 times n minus 2. And you want it to be, in the bottom, you want it to be 4 times n minus 2 times n plus 8. Again, what is missing from this to make it look like this? You're missing the n plus 8. So if you multiply this by n plus 8, you got to multiply the top by n plus 8. So you're going to have n times n plus 8. So when we say rewrite or write each fraction in terms of the LCD, that's the first fraction, that's the second one, and this is the third one. First, second, third one using the LCD as common denominator. Let's try some subtractions. Let's say subtract 7x minus the 10 over x plus 6, subtract from it 5x minus 22. Again, the nice thing about this problem is what? If you look at the two fractions, they have the same denominator. So we can make it one fraction and the top will be what? 7x minus the 10 minus 5x minus the 22. This will be 7x minus 10. That'll be negative 5x plus 22. Notice a minus sign outside the parentheses will change all the signs on the inside. Now let's simplify it. What is 7x minus 5x? 2x. What's a negative 10 plus 22? Is it plus 12? Now the question is, can I simplify this? And to simplify that means, can I factor this? Well, if you look at the top, you can factor a 2 out. If you factor a 2 out, what's left? X plus 6 over what? X plus 6. And these two are the same. Cancel each other out. So your final answer is going to be what? 2 divided by nothing, or a 1, which is really just 2. Let's look at another one. Add. Again, I'm trying to mix and match. Add what? 3 over 2y minus 8. Three over 2y minus 8 plus 2 over 4y squared minus 16y. Again, if you're adding or subtracting fractions, you need to find the LCD, the least common denominator. And to find the least common denominator, before you can do anything, you need to factor the bottom. Find the LCD, you got to factor it. So if I look at the first one, this will be 3 over 2 times y minus 4. Let's look at the greatest common factor here is 4y. Y minus 4. Remember, the LCD is the multiplication of all the different factors, each raised to its highest power. Well, when you look at the 4, 4 is really 2 times 2. So this 2 is in this one, so I'm not going to use the 2, I'm going to use the 4. I get the y and the y minus 4. This 2 is inside that one. There's no reason to multiply by 2. If you did, it will not be wrong. It will not be the LCD. It will be a common denominator, but not the smallest one. And if you simplify your answer at the end, you will be correct. But since this is inside that, the 2 is inside the 4, there's no reason to use it. So now I need to make sure each one of these fractions has the LCD for a denominator. So this is the 2, there's no change here. I'm not changing the bottom, so the top should not change. But when you look at this, it's missing a piece. What is missing from this? How do you make this one look like this? We need to multiply it by 2y, the top and the bottom. So what is 2y times 2? That will make it 4y and y minus 4. So what's 2y times 3? That's what? 6y. So now my answer, since the bottom is the same, will be, leave this one, 6y plus 2. Can I simplify my answer? Yes, I can. I can factor a 2 out of the top. If I take a 2 out, what's left is 3y plus 1. Now the 2's will cancel. By 2 this is 1, by 2 this is 2. So my answer is 3y plus 1 over 2y times y minus 4. Let's try another one. Subtract. We'll go subtraction again. 5 over d minus 3 minus d minus 4 over d squared minus d minus 6. Again, anytime you're adding or subtracting, you need a common denominator. 5 over d minus 3, you got to factor them. I can't really simplify this. D minus 4. If I factor this, that's d and d. This is a minus, that means one of them is positive, one is negative. Negative 3 plus 2. Again, the LCD is the multiplication of all the different factors. D plus 2 times d minus 3. So I'm going to make each one of these in the bottom d plus 2 times d minus 3. This one doesn't look like this. It's missing a piece. What's not in it? What's not in it is d plus 2. So if you multiply the bottom by d plus 2, you will have to multiply the top by d plus 2. So you will have 5 times d plus 2 minus. This one is exactly the same as this. There's no change. If there's no change to it, that means there's no change to the top. Since these two are the same, I'll make it one fraction. This will be 5d plus 10 minus d minus 4. That's 5d plus 10. The minus sign is going to change all the signs after that. What's 5d minus d? 4d. What is 10 plus 4? Plus 14 over d plus 2 times d minus 3. Now always try to factor the top, because you never know if anything is going to cancel. I can factor a 2 out. D plus 7, D plus 2, D minus 3, and there's really nothing that will cancel to simplify that. So it's going to stay like that. except I left 2 here. I'm looking at it. I took a 2 out. 2 times 2 is 4. I forgot to write that 2 here. 2d plus the 7 over d plus 2d minus 3. Let's try another one. A few more examples to review there. Let's say subtract. I lost track of the numbering. It might be 11, but I'm not sure. Five over 2x squared minus 3x minus the 2 minus x over 4 minus x squared. Again, I need to factor each one of them. This is 5 over 2x squared. Has to be 2x and x. Minus 2, that means one is positive, one is negative. I think that'll give me a minus 2 here, plus the 1 here. Notice what is minus 2 times 2x? This is negative 4x plus the 1x, that's negative 3x. So I am good with the factoring. This will be x over 2 plus x, 2 minus x. Now notice here, the bottom one, the 2 plus x, I can make it x plus 2, is the same thing. When you have a plus sign, if you switch them, it's not a big deal. It doesn't change anything. But when you have a negative sign or subtraction between them, when you switch them, that's a problem. If I switch that, if I make it x minus 2, I can't just do that. I got to come back here and change that sign to a plus. So I switch this one, I switch that one. And the reason I want to switch them, because now that looks like this. It's the same thing. So my LCD now, which is the multiplication of all the different factors, is going to be 2x plus 1, x minus 2, x plus 2. So here we go. I want the bottom to be the LCD. How do we make this look like this? What's missing from it? That's really what the question. What is missing from this? If I add x plus 2 to the bottom here, it will look just like this. That means I need to multiply the bottom by x plus 2. 5 times x plus 2. I multiplied the bottom by x plus 2 and the top by x plus 2. How do we make this one look like this? What's missing from it is the 2x plus 1. So x times 2x plus the 1. Now let's combine them into one. This will be 5x, well, 5x plus 10. This will be plus 2x squared plus x when you combine them as one. All of this plus all of this. Clean it. 2x squared plus 6x plus the 10 over. You can see actually from the top I can factor a 2 out because everyone has a 2 in it. If I take a 2 out, will be x squared plus what? 3x plus 5, 2x plus 1 in the bottom, x minus 2, x plus 2. And I can't really factor anymore. That's it. So this answer is good, this answer is good. So we did additions, subtractions. Let's try multiplications and divisions now. Let's say we have multiply. N plus 1 over 3n minus 18 times n minus 6 over 6n. Let's go 6n cubed minus 6n. Okay, I need to factor each one. Let's look at the first fraction. N plus 1, I can factor 3 out. What's left? N minus 6 times n minus 6 over. I can take out what? 6n? What's left? N squared minus 1. Are we done factoring? The answer is no. This I can't simplify. But the next one, I can. Look at n squared minus 1. That's the difference of 2 squared. The 1 is 1 squared. You can factor that as n minus 1, n plus 1. And now let's see if we have the same thing on the top and the bottom. Gone. N minus 6 with n minus 6. What's left on the top? When the whole thing is gone, there's always a 1 left there. What is 3 times 6? 18 n times n minus 1. Don't forget the 1 on the top. You'll be surprised how many people just drop the 1, drop the fraction, they go 18n over n minus 1. This is times 1. That's why we put the 1 there. The n plus 1 is n plus 1 times 1. There's always a 1 left there. And that's as far as I can go with it. I can multiply the 18n times this. I'm sure they're happy with this answer. Let's try divide here. I don't know if I got the numbers right or not. Divide. A squared minus 25 over a squared minus 2a minus 24 divided by a squared plus a minus 30 over a squared minus the 36. When you have division, I call it keep, change, and change. What does that mean? Keep the first fraction. Keep, change, and change. What's the change? Change this one to multiplications and change this. Flip it. Use the reciprocal. So the first fraction you don't touch. You leave it alone. You take the division, change it to multiplications, and you take this and change it by taking the reciprocal of it. Now let's factor. The 25 is 5 squared, so that's the difference of two squares. 8 minus 5, a plus 5. 36 is 6 squared. A minus 6, a plus 6. Let's look at the bottom. A squared minus 2a minus 24. A squared is a and a. Negative 24, that means positive and negative. And 6 and 4 will make it 24, so negative 6, positive 4. This one, a and a again. Negative 30, that means one is positive, one is negative. 36 and 5. So plus 6 minus the 5. That'll give me the plus 1a. And let's look for like factors or terms. Gone. 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 What's left? A plus 5 over a plus 4. Let's try one more with division. X squared plus 6x plus the 8 over x squared plus x minus the 2 divided by x plus 4 over 2x squared plus 12x plus the 16. Again, keep, change, and change. Keep the first fraction. Change the division to multiplication. Change the second fraction. And while I'm changing it, let me factor a 2 out so I don't have to waste another step. If I factor a 2 out of the top, what's left? X squared plus 6x plus the 8. And the bottom x plus 4. So I did 2 steps in one. I flipped these, and at the same time I factor a 2 out of them. So let's see if I can factor that. X squared plus 6x plus 8, that's x plus 4, x plus 2. This one, x plus 2, x minus 1. Times, there's the 2 in the front. Again, this is x plus 4, x plus 2. Over x plus 4. X plus 2 is gone with x plus 2. X plus 4 is gone with x plus 4. Let's see what we have left there. On the top, I see a 2. I see x plus 2. And I see x plus 4. The bottom, I see x minus 1. And that is my answer. A couple more examples, maybe 2 or 3 examples. Let's do rational equations, and let's do proportions. We didn't cover that yet. Solve. 1 over y minus 5 plus y plus 4 over 25 minus y squared equals 1 over y plus 5. Again, let's factor. This will be 5 minus y, 5 plus y. And the y plus 5 and the 5 plus y, these two are the same. Addition is always the same. So these two are no big deal. These two are backward. So I need to reverse one of them. Either reverse this to make it y minus 5 to match that, or reverse this to make it 5 minus y. I'll do this. So this will be 1 over y minus 5. I'm leaving a space there. I'm going to make that, if I'm going to reverse this, if I make that y minus 5 and y plus 5, again, the addition is not a reverse. But I reverse this one. If I reverse that, I will change the sign from plus to a minus. Now, if you look at these three fractions, you can see the LCD now. The LCD is the multiplication of all the different factors. So let's multiply every one of these terms by the LCD. Over 1, not over itself, because I'm multiplying the entire equation, this side and that side. And let's see if we see anything that might cancel. The y minus 5 with the y minus 5. So I have 1 times y plus 5, which is y plus 5. Here's the minus. This one cancels this. This one cancels that. That's y plus 4. Equals 1 times y minus 5, which is y minus 5. Let's see if we can simplify this. That's a y plus 5. The minus sign is going to change all the signs. Y minus y is 0. 5 minus 4 is 1. Now let's add 5 to both sides. Y equals 6. Now again, before we say this is my answer, plug it in, make sure it works. And if you're lazy like me, at least make sure when you plug them in, it doesn't make the denominator 0. When y is 6, is 6 minus 5 equals to 0? No. Is 25 minus 6 squared is 36. Is 25 minus 36 0? No. Is 6 plus 5 equals to 0? No. So I am okay. Let's try another one. Solve, that's an equation here. 2y over y minus 4 minus the 2. The 2 is root 2 over 1 equals 4 over y plus 5. And you can see I can't really do anything to the bottom. I can't simplify them, factor them anymore. So my LCD is going to be y minus 4 times y plus 5. So I'm going to multiply every one of these terms by the LCD. Here's the 2 here. I'm going to multiply it by y minus 4. Y plus 5. There's the 2 equals, this is the 4 over y plus 5. I'm going to multiply everything by y minus 4, y plus 5. Cancel. Cancel. So I have 2y times y plus 5 minus 2 times, if I multiply this, what's that? the FOIL method, that's y squared plus y minus 20. FOIL method. Equals, this will be 4 times y minus 4. And now let's clean that and try to solve it. What's 2y times y? That's 2y squared plus 10y. Let's take the negative 2, multiply it through each one of these. That'll make it negative 2y squared minus 2y plus 40 equals 4y minus the 16. Clean it. Perfect. These guys cancel each other out. What's 10y minus 2y? 8y plus 40 equals 4y minus the 16. This is a linear equation. Take the plus 40 to this side, take the 4y to this side. Change side, change sign. 8y minus 4y equals, take the 40 there, becomes a negative 40 minus 16. 4y equals negative 56. To solve for y, you divide by 4. 4, not y. You can tell I'm getting tired. Y equals negative, I think 16. Maybe not. 14. $56 divided by 4 is 14. So y equals negative 14. Again, check your answer. When it's negative 14, what's negative 14 minus 4? Negative 18. It's not a 0. That's not a 0. When it's negative 14, what's negative 14 plus the 5? Negative 9 is not a 0. I'm good. One more and that's it. X over x plus 6 equals 1 over x plus 2. That's proportion. Proportion, do cross multiply. X times x plus 2 equals 1 times x plus 6. And let's solve this one. X squared plus 2x, x plus 6. Move everything to one side. That would be a negative x minus 6 equals to 0. X squared plus x minus 6 equals to 0. Factor that. X plus 3, x minus 2. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve it. X equals negative 3, x equals 2. Again, let's plug them in just to make sure they do work. When x equals negative 3, I'm going to have negative 3 over negative 3 plus 6, question mark. Is that equal to 1 over Negative 3 plus 2. Let's see. This is negative 3 over 3. Does that equal to 1 over negative 1? That's a negative 1. Does it equal to negative 1? Yes, it does. Let's try the 2. Make sure the 2 works. Plug it in. Is 2 over 2 plus 6. Does that equal, question mark, 1 over 2 plus 2? That's 2 over 8. Is it equal to 1 over 4? If you simplify 2 over 8, that's 1 over 4 is 1 over 4. And yes, they are equal. So both answers are good. X equals 2, X equals negative 3. That's the end of the chapter.